Jayden Daniels was officially named the starting quarterback for the Washington Commanders. And it's crazy that this is really barely being talked about. Now, to be clear, I think he was always going to be the starting quarterback. This idea that there was like ever any type of competition or anything like that is just absurd to me, right? So I can understand if people aren't talking about it in the sense of like this is breaking news, but I'm not feeling the hype behind Jayden Daniels. I'm really not. Everyone keeps talking about Caleb Williams. They were all about J.J. McCarthy before he got injured. Bo Nix. And it's not to say that these other quarterbacks aren't deserving of the hype that they're receiving. That's not the argument that I'm trying to make at all. But it's just the fact that it's just interesting to me the lack of energy from the media, at least, behind Jayden Daniels. And as I've talked about this before, that's largely due to because of the issues that previous ownership had with the Washington Commanders. And so the media wasn't really getting behind the Commanders that much. And of course, they've also just have not been a good franchise over the years more recently. But that's the past right now, right? Like we can turn that page. We can move on from that. Where it's a new era, right? New coaching, new ownership, new quarterback. So I'm just failing to see why is there no hype? There should be hype. I understand the explanation from the past, but like where is the hype? I see way more content about Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, J.J. McCarthy. And again, J.J. McCarthy, of course, is now kind of gone down because of his injury. But I'm just, I don't, I'm still confused, honestly. The fact that people are still not continuing to talk about. He was a second overall pick in April. In fact, when Drake May, like, I don't know, everyone was like so high on Drake May against the Eagles in the preseason that they used that as a jumping off point. All the main sports shows, The Herd, First Things First, NFL Live, like they were using that very limited sample size for a quarterback who's probably going to get not a lot of playing time unless there's some sort of injury for the Patriots, an organization that is not really going in a positive direction from my viewpoint, or if it is, it's a very small incremental positive direction. And they use that as a jumping off point to really like, hey, let's talk about Drake May and the Patriots now. And it's kind of like, why are we not talking about Jayden Daniels? Why are we not dissecting what he can and can't do on the field, the pros and the cons? It's just, I'm still struggling to make sense of it. Again, I understand why in the past, but I'm talking about today, 2024, August. Let's go. A couple weeks before, the season. Like, there should just be more energy behind it. And I don't know if it's just because media can't do more than one thing at once, right? It just has to be Caleb Williams, Caleb Williams, Caleb Williams. And again, I understand if you're a Jayden Daniels fan, a Commanders fan, Caleb Williams deserves the hype. He deserves the fame, the attention, and all of that. But it doesn't mean that there needs to be, I don't want to say avoiding Jayden, but there doesn't need to be a lack of attention onto him. I'm just struggling. So let's take a listen to see what he has to say. It's a short little clip, and then we'll kind of go from there more.
Just joy and happiness to be able, like I said, to live out a dream that I dreamt about. But also, man, it's just I couldn't be here without anybody. Like I couldn't do it on my own. Like family, support system, the organization here, Mr. Harris and all them for drafting me, and even the people in the quarterback room. I mean, shout out to Marcus for taking me under his wing and being a great mentor. Jeff Driscoll, man, they looking out for me and helping me out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's awesome. He's also proving. I want to see if I can get that clip again where it said, no, it's not coming up. I think it's just he's such an awesome person, and that's just at the mic alone, and I think that is going to pay dividends for him. Because he's going to be someone that people want to root for. That the locker room wants to get behind. He's saying that he worked hard for this and all that, but he's thanking other people, right? He's not like, yeah, I expect this for myself, and I expect that I'm going to be able to do this, and this is just the beginning. Like, he didn't say that. He was just literally expressing his gratitude, which I think is awesome and very, very overlooked. I want to see, I I don't know why. I know I dismissed it. I'll just I'll refresh, let the clip play, but I'll keep it muted so we don't have to watch it again. But I saw that it said Orlovsky isn't surprised that Jayden Daniels is the number one pick. Right. I don't think anyone should be surprised, but I want to see if I can bring that cue up if ESPN wants to not be so difficult to deal with right now. I just think that the Commanders are doing a lot of things right. And I think for the longest time, the Commanders, especially in the NFC East, were just not a team that anyone had to worry about. They just weren't, right? Even if they got a little bit of momentum going, it never really felt sustainable. It never really felt all that resilient. For the most part, it's just been Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles, Cowboys. And really only the Eagles have won a Super Bowl recently. Okay, good. Now we got this. And I would say, well, here, let's just take a listen.
He named the starter for Week 1 for the Commanders. Your reaction to that?
Not surprised. That's the expectation really since the moment they drafted Jayden Daniels. And I think if you're the Washington Commanders, what you've liked is the things that were the superpowers of his in college football, some of the ball placement. It's shown itself through the first 2 weeks of the preseason. He's getting the ball out quickly. It's going to the right shoulder. They designed or used some designed quarterback runs. And Cliff Kingsbury, who's their offensive coordinator, has got to like what they've seen from Jayden when it comes to this is what he was as a player in college football. And it looks like he's going to be that type of talent in the NFL. I think the big question is going to be, can they keep him clean with that offensive line? Because they are plenty talented on the outside. And how much designed quarterback run are they willing to do? Remember, Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray, they did a lot of that early on in Kyler's career in Arizona. How much are they willing to do that with a little bit of the smaller framed Jayden Daniels? But this gives Washington a legitimate chance to be a competitive football team week in and week out.
Start with Jayden.
Yeah, listen. This whole idea, I get it. He can run. I get it. But this whole idea that that's also what people want to focus on, and not his decision making, not his arm, not his accuracy. Like, I think that Jayden Daniels can do so much more than just design run after design run after design run after design run. I think we need to kind of evolve from this mentality of what a running quarterback looks like. I think it's very obvious at this point, because we have a lot of examples of this now over the years, that a run first quarterback, or a quarterback where their ability to run makes up majority of what makes them special, we know that it's just brutal to win consistently at a high level, to win those Super Bowls. You need a lot of things to go right. It's not to say that you can't, but at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, often the quarterback needs to be able to throw the ball. And when they can't, they fail. And it's not to say that they're just terrible throwers, but just look no further than Lamar Jackson versus Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. He relied so heavily on his run. And I think Lamar Jackson can throw the ball, but that was clearly not how that offense was designed. And, they were a run-first team. And then they abandoned the run, which I thought was dumb. And it would have been interesting to see if they actually just continued to run, if that would have been enough to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. But regardless, when they tried to throw the ball, it just was not working. Lamar could not get it done. It's that simple. And again, I really do blame coaching for that. But at the same time, he could not get it done. So I don't see the point in trying to build an identity, especially rookie year, of Jayden Daniels, of being this more designed run-first quarterback. It doesn't age well. I don't think it's productive. I think it's sacrificing long-term success for short-term success. Colin Cowherd's whole idea is it's good to be a running quarterback when you're young, because you can, when you're like a rookie first or second year, because you can rely on that, right? You can rely on that. That translates more easily to the NFL, right? If you can run, you can run. I mean, as long as you're fast, it's like you don't even really know how to play football. As long as you can outrun those people, you're good to go. And it can help you, and it can bail you out of many situations. But I do think you're just kicking the can down the road. And are we really yet to see a true bona fide run first quarterback? And again, it's not to say that that's who Jayden Daniels is. It just seems like that's the thing. That's kind of also to circle back to my earlier point. Like, We're not actually having like real legit conversations about Jayden Daniels. And anytime we do, and Orlovsky does, this isn't, I'm not calling out Orlovsky at all. This is only like a little minute, segment he has, but it's like centered around running and not what he can do with his arm. And I have faith in Cliff Kingsbury that yes, you absolutely are going to still use Jayden Daniels' legs as a strength. I'm not saying you don't use it as a strength. I'm not saying you avoid it, but I just don't want it to be what makes him special, the majority of what makes him special. I think it's okay if it's 40%. 30% of what makes him special. But once you start to get to like 50, 60, 70%, and these are obviously made up numbers, I think that's when it can become problematic. And again, look at Lamar Jackson and look at Patrick Mahomes. Look at Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. When you can throw the football and you are accurate, and you can roll out and throw the ball, you can scramble, buy some time with your legs, and then throw the ball down the field, that's what makes you special. Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP, unbelievable. Come time playoffs, it's like, what are we doing here? It gets clear that Patrick Mahomes is a superior quarterback in that regard. Maybe during the regular season, maybe during those MVP years, maybe some of those times when the legs are going and the field is opening up and he is able to pick apart the defense, you're like, see, this is unbelievable. But once the game starts to get smaller and more congested and more competitive, and it's now like moment to moment, that's when you can kind of see Lamar Jackson's game shrink. And like I keep saying, I don't blame Lamar, but that's when you can see Patrick Mahomes' game expand. Right? He can make that perfect throw at the exact moment that you need to. And I want to see Jayden Daniels develop into that more than anything. He should be looking at Patrick Mahomes as a frame of reference and not Lamar Jackson. That's just the way I see it. I mean, like I said, we have quarterbacks that are littered with examples of this who can, have all the razzle dazzle, who can run, who can still throw the ball, but it's just not the levels of success that I think the Washington Commanders want. So if I were them, I would just do the tried and true way. And I do have confidence that Cliff Kingsbury will understand that he will absolutely use Jayden's legs to benefit the team, of course, and himself, but that he will look to throw the ball first, that he is going to try to get situated as a pass-first quarterback and not rely on your legs as a get-out-of-jail-free card at any moment, right? I think that ends up being a worse habit than not. And Patrick Mahomes has only won more and more and more ever since he started to run less and less and less. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Are you excited that Jayden Daniels has been officially named the starting quarterback? Was it shocking to you? Are you stunned that this happened? And do you think that Jayden Daniels can have, true success early on? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.